Senator Natasha Kogi Central, I propose that we retain the amendment with the deletion of the downloadable voter card, which is 47(1) subsection A. So I propose that we retain the amendment, but we only, with the deletion of this particular part, which is the downloadable voter's card with a unique QR code, as contained in section 47.
Sorry, sir. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Any seconder? Senator Plank, please take it easy. No, just take it easy until you're recognized. Just sit down. The reason I'm saying this is, if we do like that, I'm saying any seconder to that motion? Yes? Abbas? She said we should.
Mr. Chairman,
downloadable.
Distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Aminu Abbas, Adamawa Central. I second the motion as moved by, Senator Natasha Poti.
Okay, the motion is that we should delete downloadable.
Only.
So we should delete downloadable.
Yes. Yes. I so second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So we accept. So they shall propose that we remove the word downloadable in that clause. Those in support that downloadable we remove, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. So what again do you observe?
South. This has to do with accreditation. This is clause 47 on page 39. Accreditation of voters and voting. What we have in the Electoral Act 2022, a person intending to vote in an election shall present himself with his voter's card to a presiding officer for accreditation at the polling unit in the constituency in which his name is registered. To vote, the presiding officer shall use a smart card reader, that's Electoral Act 2022, or any other technological device that may be prescribed by the Commission for accreditation of votes to verify, confirm, or authenticate the particulars of the intending voters in the manner prescribed by the Commission. Number 3, where a smart card reader or any other technological device deployed for accreditation of voter fails to function in any unit and a fresh card reader or technological device is not deployed, the election in that unit shall be cancelled and another election shall be scheduled within 24 hours if the Commission is satisfied with the results of the election in that polling unit, will substantially affect the final result of the whole election and declaration of a winner in the constituency concerned. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'd like to propose a motion that we retain that 2022 version while redacting the use of smart card reader to provide for a bimodal voter accreditation system, that's BVAS. Do you understand does anyone understand what I just said? My amendment.
I don't think they understand what you're saying.
If you look at the proposal brings in the downloadable voter card with unique.
No, we said no, that is not allowed.
It's not here. It's not here under the retained. It's not there. That's why I'm highlighting.
No, we've not accepted downloadable.
It's here under this and it's stated there as retained.
Where?
No, clause 47, verse page 39. Accreditation of voters under the proposed bill, which has been retained. A person intending to vote in an election shall present himself to a presiding officer for accreditation at the PU in the constituency in which his name is registered and shall provide any of the following forms of identification. An electronically generated voter identification, including a downloadable voter card with a unique QR code. Or any... But
we said it should be removed.
That's what I'm saying. So we should basically retain what the Electoral Act 2022 says.
So propose that we delete this and
it's not removed.
Go on.
That was an executive session. We're doing the work now. For the sake of clarity for everyone in the chambers, the first motion and the second motion are more or less exactly the same. What we are saying is that first version, we are now sticking with the Electoral Act of 2022, but with beavers.
Yes.
What the second motion said was to remove Section A, Section 1A and B, which is essentially the same section as the Electoral Act 2022, but with beavers. So it's in order. No, listen to. So, what they are saying is that that we should stick to the Electoral Act 2022 and just change smart card reader to bimodal voter registration, beavers.
Yes, Dr. Kaila.
Thank you, sir. My name is Senator Kaila, representing Bauchi North. Sir, there are two committees here. A committee sat.
Huh? Where are we having printed constitutions? How can we allow different constitutions to be printed with different dates? So how do you know which one is authentic?
The one they gave to you, sir, is probably the one that doesn't have the amendments.
One minute. The 76 on this one given to me by the clerk. Elections to each house of the National Assembly shall be held on a date to be appointed by the Independent National Electoral Commission in accordance with the Electoral Act. The date mentioned in subsection 1 of this section shall not be earlier than 150 days and not later than 30 days. And not later than 30 days before or where the election is to fill a vacancy occurring more than 90 days before such date, and not later than 30 days after the vacancy occurred. In other words, after a vacancy occurs, not less than 30 days, we should call for a by-election. Is the 150? Is the 150 days?
Yes, the issue was that in the Constitution before it was 360 days.
In the
last constitutional amendment, it was removed from the Constitution to the Electoral Act. And this section 76 is now the prevailing constitutional provision, and which you have correctly read out. That this, the date mentioned in subsection 1.
Clerk, what you gave me now, is that the Constitution?
Yes,
so the Constitution says 150.
This is the Constitution, sir. What you rightly read now.
The Constitution says 150.
The Constitution says not later 150 days. Not earlier than 150 days before the time when the dissolution of the National Assembly is supposed to hold. So it means that it cannot be conducted, it should be conducted not later, between 150 and 130, and 30 days. That means you can extend the election to be concluded 30 days to the day of the inauguration of the National Assembly. But you cannot do it earlier than 150 days to that.
President, I don't know whether my submission will be in line with the learned suit. Election petitions are sui juris in nature. Proof in election petitions is based on preponderance of evidence. Okay. As I said earlier on, election petitions are sui juris in nature, and proof is based on preponderance of evidence. Unlike criminal cases, where it does not shift, in election petition cases, it shifts. So what my learned colleague is saying is true. It can shift. It is not static. It can shift based on what the other party alleges. It's not static as in criminal cases. It shifts.
But what you are saying, you see, election petition is not like criminal petition.
It's not like criminal
That's
cases.
why we use that word, sui generis. That's number one. So if the certified true copies of documents are presented to the court and they prove the case, then we don't need to call evidence unless it is proven that the certified true copy is for a forgery. If it comes from the proper custody, there is no need to call evidence to come and prove it. Otherwise, you will not be able to finish a case. Read, let me hear.
Sir, the Supreme.
Use your mic. Use your mic. Just try. No, look, we are elders, and we are almost getting to 10 p.m.
Sir, I move that section 142 be amended to read thus. The party who alleges non-compliance with the provisions of this act in conduct of election shall call oral evidence and demonstrate same where originals or certified true copies manifestly disclose non-compliance alleged. I so move. The Organic Law on Proof by Evidence Act and the Supreme Court has ruled in a plethora of cases that if you have documents, you must demonstrate them in court. And so oral evidence have to be called to support those documents. That is what the Supreme Court said. So what? You can't just dump documents in the court.
Sorry, Tony, somebody's talking. But if you have the superior argument, you drop money. We should change the rule. That way, at the end of one day, you'll be surprised how much you will make. But it will go to the account of the Federation, not to my pocket. So, my leader, please proceed.
We retain what is in the Eastern Act, but increase the penalty to 5 million.
Senator Sani Musa.
Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I stand to second the motion as moved by the DSP that we increase the fine to 5 million and then leave it retained as the 2022. Yes.
Well, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Cause what? We are past that. We are past that. Just follow us gently. This is lawmaking. It has its own procedures. And the three. Clause 25. Clause 25 is on page 22. And it goes all the way to 24. Those in support of the amendments say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 26. I hope we are diligently looking. Asukwa, what are you doing? Clause 27. as amended. Clause 28. Clause 27. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 28. Yes.
Says, where the tribunal or the court determines that a candidate who was returned as elected was not validly elected on the ground that
you are actually in page. You are in page 139, right?
He's on page 139.
You are in page 139.
Yes.
Go ahead, and you are reading the second column.
Yes.
Yes.
Go on.
I'm on the second column. Yes. 141.
Page 139.
Nullification.
Nullification of election.
141.2.
Oh, yeah.
On page 139, gentlemen.
Section 2. I mean clause 2. Clause 2.
Go on.
Where the tribunal or the court determines that a candidate who was returned as elected was not validly elected on the ground that he did not score the majority of valid votes cast at the election, the election tribunal or the court, as the case may be, shall declare as elected the candidate who scored the highest number of votes, valid votes, cast at the election and satisfied the requirements of the Constitution and this bill. And so yesterday,
what is wrong with that?
As a prelude to our guide, we had said that in all circumstances, where candidates are either disqualified or the election nullified, that the commission within 90 days should order a rerun. That was what we agreed.
I know, but I don't think that applies to this one. I think this one is talking about...
It does. No, it's not miscalculation.
This one is talking about miscalculation. Read it again. You'll see that this one is talking about miscalculation. For instance, where somebody, where they tallied the vote and they wrongly spelled, they wrongly, instead of 1,480 or whatever, and they now, it's just the addition.
It's not, wait now.
It's addition.
The point here is this.
Make it clear that.
I've been to tribunal several times. The one that you are talking about now is where a situation where votes were not properly counted.
Yes.
For somebody who came second. And then some votes were improperly counted for the person who came first.
Yes.
That is not what is referred to here. They said if election is nullified on account of the person who came first not being properly returned or with valid votes, then the next person should be declared.
You are not hearing.
And we say,
let me read for you so that you understand. It says, where the tribunal or the court determines that a candidate who was returned as elected was not validly elected on the ground that he did not score the majority of the valid votes cast at that election, the election tribunal or the court, as the case may be, shall declare as elected the candidate who scored the highest number of valid votes cast at the election and who has satisfied the requirements of the Constitution and this bill. And in this case, it will be on this act. When signed, it will be on this act. What it means is that if there was wrong counting, wrong tallying, then the tribunal should be at peace to use calculator and calculate and show that this person actually won. If you take that power away, you are trying to make them. It means that every presiding officer can make mistake in calculation so that the election will be nullified. We can't allow that. We don't have that kind of money. You recalculate. If you recalculate and find out that the person that actually won was the person who took second, where sometimes the votes are very close. You can have somebody who beats the other with just 3 or 5 votes. But when you actually calculate the totality of the polling unit votes, you find out that the person who won is actually the one that was second. The tribunal should be at liberty to to correct that. Senator Omen, please explain to him. Because the
his motion to the extent that what we had before should be retained, but there should be the beavers should be replaced because the beavers is okay. We should allow the beavers to stay. Beaver is okay. I say second. We retain what we had before and now use beavers because beaver is more is tested and it's okay.
So what are you saying?
And I'm with him. We should retain.
But what was before? Was it beavers? Was smart card?
Yeah, but beavers is more.
So explain. If beavers is better, so you have to come by way of
under the Electoral Act.
No, you have to come by way of a motion to amend that we should use
beavers now.
Mr. Chairman,
with beavers.
In the 2022 Electoral Act, they provided for smart card reader, which had been used in the previous election, and they said or any other technological device that may be prescribed by the commission, which is beavers. But at the time, they had not finalized maybe on the terminology or whatever.
So that
we are now correcting it to state beavers.
No, I'm saying that by the time it's beavers, not electronic.
Or any other technology. Okay.
Beavers, not electronic.
No. We are saying we are going back to 2020.
I'm saying it's beavers, not electronic. Yes. Because you are saying smart card or
consultation earlier with
what page?
Page 70, direct primaries.
Yes.
We said that rather than specify A, B, and C, that we should have only this. The procedure for the conduct of the direct method of primary election by parties shall be in accordance with the constitution and guidelines of each party. Each political party.
Yes, but what about the consensus?
Section?
Because if you don't put consensus...
I'm sorry?
If the law does not make provision for consensus...
It's there. It's there.
So read now how you want it.
This one is for direct only, not just for because the other section says consensus and direct.
Okay.
I'm only involved in direct in this manner because we felt that no matter what you do, even if you look at A, B, and C, where you say that all members will be part and all that, it should be left for the political party to determine the mode in accordance with their constitution.
I hope that will not bloat the number of voters.
No, wait.
Okay, any seconder? Any seconder?
Yes.
No seconder?
No, there's a seconder. DSP is seconding it.
Okay, no, DSP, not you. Let us get the minority leader's opinion.
Mr. President, I second the motion moved by distinguished Senator Elinaya Abaribe that the conduct of direct primary should be left.
It shall be in accordance with
the party's constitution
and guidelines.
Yeah.
The party's constitution and guidelines.
Yeah.
Senator Tony Way, your mic. No, I said your mic.
You can add it. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Those in support that direct primaries should be conducted in accordance with the provisions of the party's guidelines and constitution. Say aye. Those against say nay. So that becomes, the ayes have it, that becomes part of the second that becomes a proviso to the first one.
It was introduced, it has been retained. Now, to leave it open in the manner it is worded, such as B, any other form of identification as may be prescribed in clause 10. No any other form.
No, we said
it
PVC.
has to be PVC because any other form will be open to abuse.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Senator Plan, that's correct.
The form, sir, quite right, but let me just sort of shed some light. Yes, I had the respected Chief Whip talk about election matters being sui generis. There's no doubt about that. But however, election matters must also follow jurisprudence. The basic principles of evidence must be adhered to. The problem with this is that it's the last sentence. Relevant documents manifestly disclose the non-compliance alleged. Who determines that? The judge. Now, the judge will sit in his chambers and determine that it shows manifestly that you did not comply.
That cannot happen.
That cannot happen. That is the danger in this. Because if the judge, when I tender, it says, yes, Senator Akpabio, these your documents actually show that you won the election. He has determined the case without the case finishing.
He has finished the case without arriving.
So he can't say so. So he keeps quiet. Then goes to his chambers and decides that I have looked at it. No, you did not win. Without affording the parties the opportunity to challenge such an evidence.
To the document.
So for me,
so the
it
parties
should
must
go.
tender the document.
There's no need for it. Once it goes, the rules of evidence will come into play. Which means when you put a document down, you must speak to it. Simple.
All
it should
right,
actually be expunged.
Senator Odende,
so in that line, sir, I move that section 1.
Move a 88,
87, page 74. Mr. Chairman, 87 subsection 4A. Old Congresses subsection 4A. Page 74.
Please approach the chair.
Okay, sir.
Colleagues, I would add that mode identification should be the PVC. Because the following form of identification, if you remove A, which is a form of identification, for the purpose of election, it should be PVC. Not any other means. It should be your PVC that should use to identify yourself.
No, but it is PVC that we use now.
Yes, let it be there.
What's in the provision?
What section? 68. Distinguished Senator Adams.
Two different things. This is the constitutional which talks about time of the election. In other words, the date on which the election is to be held.
So
Section 28 says, give notice when that election will be held. Two different things. Section 28 is not covered by the Constitution, so we can amend it if we want to.
Okay, in that case, Senator, is going to second the motion.
Thank you very much,
Mr. President, from what the senior advocate have explained, from what he has explained, I'm just agreeing with him, and I'm also agreeing with Senator Mongonu. No, I will not second it like that because the number of times you have proposed will not be enough, because we are talking about time for INEC to announce when the election will hold. So they require more time, but not. Let me explain. No, not about seconding. Let me explain, sir.
Wait, so, don't second. DSP.
No, sir. Let me explain it. After the explanation, then we can continue.
Are you working in INEC?
Huh?
Are you working in INEC?
Sir?
Are you working in INEC? If INEC gets prepared a year before or 2 years before, but gives notice of an election 180 days before the election, is there anything wrong with that?
No, sir. Let me explain. Just hear me out for one second.
Huh?
So, no.
So, Senator Tony, please tell us, is there anything wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with
it. No, use your mic.
So I said, I'm of the opinion.
Yes.
I propose that instead of using the word transmission, we should retain what is in the existing word extant law, which is transfer.
Any seconder?
Yes, second.
Yes, DSP.
I second.
Okay.
Mr. President, we didn't hear what he said.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Can we go to... I hope you heard what they said. Clause 61. Clause 61. Those in support of Clause 61 remains part of the extant bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clause 62. 62, yes, 62. The amendment, what? The ayes have it. Yes, 42.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I am craving for the indulgence of the Senate to consider the existing act, the whole of the existing act, in adopting this provision, and which includes reduction of the period from 60 days proposed by this committee to the earlier existing days of 20 days under the already existing law, in view of the amendment that we have subsequently done. From 20 days proposed to, from 60 days proposed to the existing 20 days in the existing act. Yes, from 60 days to 20 days in the existing act. The committee proposed 60 days. But in the existing act is 20 days. Section 42, subsection 3. Yes. 42, subsection 3.
36.
Forty-two, subsection 3 is in page 36.
The organic law or proof as enshrined in the Evidence Act. And the Supreme Court has ruled in a plethora of cases that documentary evidence tendered and admitted from the bar in proof of a petitioner's case remain dormant unless and until they are activated by oral evidence to allow the court to speak to them. So to retain Section 137 as it is against the Organic Law of Evidence Act and the ruling of the Supreme Court. I suggest that we either delete it or amend it to read, a party who alleges non-compliance with the provisions of this act in conduct of election shall call oral evidence and demonstrate same way originals or certified true copies manifestly disclose non-compliance as alleged.
Which one? Your mic.
I make this motion that where the tribunal or the court determines that a candidate who was returned as elected was not validly elected.
Senator Abamuru, look at the second one, not the first one. The first one is what was in the extant regulation.
The second column that I'm looking at.
It's 141, not 136. You are using this number. This is the extant rule.
Oh, okay.
So it's 141 till we reach 141 before you.
Oh, okay, okay.
So since it's talking about 140.
Okay. No, Mr. President, I'm properly guided that I'm actually supposed to be talking
So
about
you have withdrawn your objection?
Yeah.
You have withdrawn your objection?
Yes, for now, yes.
Have you withdrawn your objection? Then it is noted. So 136 to 140. 137, what about it?
So my objection to 137 is that
need to bear in mind that your explanation is more feasible than the suggestion that will require amendment of the Constitution that has to go across the two-thirds of the states of the Federation. Your explanation is simple. If this thing is done within February and notice the president signed, election can still take place in March, and you do not require a constitutional amendment. That is absolutely safe. There is no uncertainty whatsoever. So, my dear brother Leonard Rankin, the explanation of the Senate President is compelling and is lucid.
Thank you. That's my opinion. But I'm prepared to allow us to come back to that if Senator Alero or Abdullahi finds it. You know, but Adegbomire, is it there? Has more litigation than any other
Yes,
state.
let me explain it better, Mr. President. Thank you very much. There are instances during collation of results. They will leave the polling booth results as content and go above and put 2,000 votes during collation. And they do not, when you calculate the EC8A1s, the polling booth results, you notice that the person who is ahead, when you calculate the polling booth results, will go behind. Because they've added figure to him, and the final collation will read the person scored the highest number of votes. But when you go back to the EC8A1, the polling booth results, when you recalculate, you see that the person who actually won the election was declared as coming behind somebody who has been given a fictitious vote.
Then the court the court or tribunal should be at liberty to correct that.
Exactly, sir.
That will not need a rerun.
This provision is very good. The way it is the standard thing. Once you determine that the man didn't win the election,
so distinguished colleagues, those in support that this be allowed to stand, say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The issue is closed. Where? Huh? Why are we having printed constitutions? How can we allow different constitutions to be printed with different dates? So how do you know which one is authentic?
The one they gave to you, sir, is probably the one that doesn't have the amendments.
One minute. The 76 on this one given to me by the clerk. Elections to each house of the National Assembly shall be held on a date to be appointed by the Independent National Electoral Commission in accordance with the Electoral Act. The date mentioned in subsection 1 of this section shall not be earlier than 150 days and not later than 30 days before or where the election is to fill a vacancy occurring more than 90 days before such date, and not later than 30 days after the vacancy occurred. In other words, after a vacancy occurs, not less than 30 days, we should call for a by-election. Is the 150? Is the 150 days?
Yes, the issue was that in the Constitution before it was 360 days.
There is no longer
in the last constitutional amendment, it was removed from the Constitution to the Electoral Act. And this section 76 is now the prevailing constitutional provision, and which you have correctly read out. That this, the date mentioned in subsection 1.
Clerk, what you gave me now, is that the Constitution?
Yes,
so the Constitution says 150.
This is the Constitution, sir. What you rightly read now.
The Constitution says 150.
The Constitution says not later 150 days, not earlier than 150 days before the time when the dissolution of the National Assembly is supposed to hold. So it means that it cannot be conducted, it should be conducted not later, between 150 and 130, and 30 days. That means you can extend the election to be concluded 30 days to the day of the inauguration of the National Assembly. But you cannot do it earlier than 150 days to that.
That I move that is 62. I move that the old versions be retained. Be retained. Okay, let me read for you. That is the post-election procedure. Retained per post-election procedure. Second, Allah.
Yes, second.
Now, so distinguished colleagues, the clause 62, the old version as in the act, in the principal act, be retained. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 63. Clause 63. Those in support of clause 63 remains part of the bill. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 64. Those in support of clauses 65 to 70 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 70 to clause 75. Those in support of 70 to 75 say aye. Those in support of clauses 70 to 75 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 76. Clause 76. 77. No, okay, let's go with clause 76. Those in support that clause 76 remain part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Now clause 77. Yes, what about 77?
I move that section 142 be deleted. I so move.
Be deleted?
Yes, be deleted.
Okay. DSP. No, use your mic.
Well, I think instead of deleting it, why not?
No. Let's just delete.
When you delete,
let the court.
the principles of evidence
Thank
take
you.
Because there is a Supreme Court
Judgment.
I'm not a lawyer, but I will
Distinguished
see with
colleagues,
lawyers. I say second.
in view of the Supreme Court decision on the subject, where section 42 is proposed for deletion. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So you succeeded. Please delete section 142. Clause 141, 151, sorry. 151 to 153 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Specifically, (144), 154, 155, 156, 157, that they form part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. Say nay. The ayes have it. The citation clause 158. Those in support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, specifically the schedules on pages 157 and pages all the way to pages 232, that they form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum on page 240. Those in support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Long title on page 1, that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Law. The extant law specify
what a voter will present before a presiding officer. And the extant law says that you first of all show your voter's card. After voter's card, you go to number 2. No, look at it, sir. Look at it, sir. That's PVC.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have voter's card. The PVC is a voter's card. So, sir, I still feel yeah, yeah. Let me, sir. Yeah. I still feel a person. What do you mean? It's PVC. I'm talking about PVC. Yes, sir. So that PVC still stands. Extant one. You know what? That face line is a former. Then you go to a sustain your. If
you have the floor, don't be distracted.
Okay.
When you say to him that matters.
Okay, sir. Yeah? There's no other standard. Yes, sir.
Mr. President.
The next stage. Mr. Chair.
You have the floor.
Mr. Chair.
Remind him you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Section 47.
Let me specific. PVC.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Section. Yeah. Sir. Section. Section 47.
Clause
subsection 1, sir.
Clause
Just
what?
listen to me, sir.
Clause what?
No. Sir?
Which clause?
Section 47, subsection.
Which clause?
Okay.
Okay, section
Clause
47.
47. Subsection 1 is a form of identity. And the form of identity is that the voter should present voter's card.
Yes.
It's only when you present the voter's card, then you go to subsection 2. And therefore, if we remove A and B, it is like the voter will only come and stand before the presiding officer. The presiding officer, if he appears before the presiding officer, he should present his voter's card.
That is what we have accepted.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
LCN against Nyako, 2015, 18, Nigerian Weekly Law Report, Part 1491, page 5352. Documentary evidence tendered and admitted from the bar in proof of a petitioner's case remain dormant. They remain dormant unless and until they are activated by oral evidence to allow the court to speak to them. While the petitioner dumps them on the tribunal or court without relating them to the affirmance in the petition, the empire, that is the court, will not descend and decide the document is meant to prove which particular affirmance in the petition. And what I'm seeking to cure is what happened in Kano's case, where the judge reclined in chambers to use section 137 to cancel votes without evidence, without demonstration of those ballot papers in court. That's why we are saying this section 142 has to be amended to admit oral evidence.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You have made your point.
Distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. I am applying that, craving for the indulgence of the Senate that it should be amended to be 90 days, within 90 days instead of 180 days. To be 180 days instead of
360
it's 180 days.
Plus 20.
Yes, section 28 is 180. Yes.
Can you check the part of the Constitution? Can you read the constitutional requirement? Read the constitutional requirement. Read the constitutional requirement. Read the constitutional requirement. Read the constitutional requirement if you have it. Senator Ashir will give him the constitutional requirement. So we can't go against what is embellished in the Constitution. That
80 days is that if we are going to go by the 360 days, we are not going to meet the time. Because we are already in January. And elections are going to be, we cannot meet, if it is 360 days, there's no way we can meet that requirement. That's why I proposed an amendment to 180 days for us to meet that requirement. Because as it is now, we have not even passed the Electoral Act. It has to go to the president for amendment and what have you, then notice, we cannot meet the 360 days.
If you find it in the Constitution, we also go and deal with it.
If we are doing it today, we'll meet.
Yes. If in 180 days we are going to meet, but 360 days we are not going to meet, even if it is constitutional, constitutional requirement. We still have to deal with amendment of the Constitution, which we are not going to meet, and we have not seen it in the Constitution.
You're not hearing
for
me.
now. Yes, sir.
I'm saying that if it is 1 year before the election, and we hold election in March,
yes,
we will meet the 1 year.
We'll
we hold election in February.
Yes.
If this is concluded today, and then the harmonization concludes its work in a few days, and the president signs this month, then we'll meet it. So it's not a problem. But let's find out if it is not there, then we amend it to 180 days.
Let us work in the side of caution, with abundance of caution, so that with first 180 days, we can meet it. Let us work with abundance of caution. Because as it is now, we don't know what is going to happen. So we work on the abundance of caution and then first 180 days, so long as it is not in the provision of the Constitution.
Yes.
Actually in the old Electoral Act and not in the Constitution. That what you find in the Constitution is the date of election and not the notice for election, which stipulates 150 days. It's not the same thing.
The date of election says 150 days.
150 days before the end of the tenure.
Before the end of the tenure.
An election must take place. That's what the Constitution, it deals with date of election, not notice of election.
Before the end of the tenure.
Yes, sir, not the notice of
the
election.
Tenure
I think that was, yes, sir.
On May 29th.
Yes.
Come backwards, 180 days. 150 days.
So it talks about the date of the election as opposed to the notice of election.
So when can the election now hold?
It's still the 150 days before the end of the tenure.
Huh?
150 days before the end of the tenure, yes, of the term of whoever is holding the office.
Yes, so
which is not what we are dealing with now. We are dealing with notice of election.
Even at that, I'm saying in your own assessment, come backwards. From May 29th.
150 days.
Calculate 150 days.
That's approximately 4.5 months.
Calculate 150 days. So when can we hold the election?
The Constitution says is between 150 days. If you say 150 days, 150 days gives you, no, 150 days gives you more than, but it's in the Constitution.
What I'm saying is that what with the notice of election and the election date, they are two different things. The date of election is what is in the Constitution, which stipulates a time. what we are talking about today is the notice of election, not the date of the election. Yes, sir. It says 150 days before the end of the tenure. I can read that. That is. Just hold on. Let me use, for example, section 76. Time of election to the National Assembly.
I have it. Go on.
I'm reading the Constitution
Read
now.
it for,
I just want to use an example of the National Assembly. It says,
from the
elections
Constitution.
to each house of the National Assembly shall be held on a day to be appointed by the independent National Electoral Commission in accordance with the Electoral Act. Subsection 2. The date mentioned in subsection 1 of this section shall not be earlier than 150 days and not later than 30 days before the date on which the house stands dissolved, or where the election is to fill a vacancy occurring more than 90 days before such date, not later than 30 days after the vacancy. But this speaks to date of election. The section which has been brought to our attention talks about notice of election, and I'm saying there are two different things.
What I've seen here, section 76 says elections to each house of the National Assembly shall be
ruled in favor of the reduction to 180 days, then it stands to reason that section 29 too will be changed. Section 29 as it reads currently states that every political party shall not later than 180 days before the date appointed for a general election under this act submit.
Where do you have your own from?
Listen. Section 29, page 27.
Listen. Distinguish.
Yes, sir.
Distinguish. You came late yesterday.
Please allow me to finish, sir.
Did you come late yesterday?
Yes, I did, but please let me.
So read what we have.
Chairman, listen now. I know now. Let me finish. Please let me land, sir.
I'm not denying you your right, your privilege, but I want you to note that we had looked at this as a Senate, and we are past that stage. And what the stage we have is 120 days.
Mr. Chairman.
Use your mic.
If 180 days was provided for when it was noticed at 360 days, it stands to reason that that notice and the deadline too should be halved to 90 days. That is what I have tried to land.
Okay,
and then it can be put on for debate.
Move your motion that we
my
move.
Motion.
Your motion is that we reduce this
from
180 days. No, because from the 120 days earlier agreed by us was in closed session.
Yes, sir.
So we move this from 180 days to what?
To 90 days.
To 90 days. Any seconder? Yes, the distinguished Senator Akpabio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to support the motion. I think that it only makes mathematical reasoning. That where you have reduced the length of notice, then it's also important that you limit the length of the publication of candidates. So I so second, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that in view of the general reduction in the notice of the intention to conduct election to 180 days, that this notice, that the submission, what do you call it?
Deadline for submission.
Submission of lists of candidates and the affidavits by political parties should now be reduced to 90 days. Yes, it should be done within 90 days so that it will help INEC. Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, clerk, note that has now been reduced to 90 days.
When tribunals nullify elections that the tribunal or the court should order for a rerun and not to declare a winner. Mr. President, in what we have here,
In what clause?
Yes. Clause 2. 136 clause 2.
That's why I said people should try and be vigilant. We had resolved that whenever election is nullified, that they should call for a rerun election, so that people will have the benefit of picking the person they want and not the person imposed by court. Because if a particular candidate is very popular and he has over 200,000 votes, and the next person has maybe 500 votes, you can't declare that 500 vote the winner. Because if you say that they should go back and reassess all those who contested the election, the person that had the 500 may not even be the winner. So that it is better to go for a rerun. So, but you people are not concentrating. So if there is if what is inside here is still what was there, make the necessary, move a motion to correct them.
That section, that a party who alleges.
Which section?
That's 142 now. That's what they are saying. That it shall not be necessary for a party who alleges non-compliance with the provision of this bill for conduct election to co-oral evidence if original or certified true copies of relevant documents manifestly disclose non-compliance. I said this is contrary to the organic law of evidence. I move that it should be amended to read thus. There are two options. We either expunge it or amend it to read thus. A party who alleges non-compliance with the provisions of this act in the conduct of election shall co-oral evidence and demonstrate some where the originals or certified true copies manifestly disclose non-compliance alleged. We can amend it to read like this or delete it entirely.
Mr. President, sitting as chairman, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I rise to move that the Senate do now revert to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support that the Senate reverts to plenary for the chairman to report progress, say aye. Aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Electoral Matters on the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2026 and approved as follows. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 21 as recommended. Clauses 22 to 27 as recommended. No, sorry, clause 22 as amended. Clauses 23 to 27 as recommended. Clauses 28 to 29 as amended. Clauses 30 to 31 as recommended. Clause 32 as amended. Clauses 33 to 42 as recommended. specifically Clause 42 as amended. Clauses 43 to 46 as recommended. Clause 47 as amended. Clauses 48 to 59 as recommended. Clause 60 as amended. Clauses 61. Clause 61 as recommended. Clause 62 as amended. Clauses 63 to 76 as recommended. Clause 77 as amended. Clauses 78 to 85 as recommended. Clause 86 as amended. Clauses 87 to 141 as recommended. Clause 142 deleted. Clauses 143 to 155 as recommended. Interpretation clause. Clause 156 as recommended. Interpretation clause 157 as recommended. Short title clause 158 as recommended. Schedule first schedule as recommended. Second schedule as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Long title as amended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the committee of the whole? Leader of the Senate, may wish to move a motion for us to proceed to the third reading.
Mr. President, the chairman of the committee is here. You have to put the chairman of the committee because he has for the harmonization, the conference committee.
The committee on electoral matters.
You have a chairman who represented us in doing this thing and then you exclude him from the harmonization. What kind of harmonization are you going to do? No, we are telling you about experience. That is how there is a legislative procedure.
That is the procedure.
Yes, you can have the person who did this work is here. And when you want to go and harmonize, how can you harmonize without the person that did the work?
Okay, distinguished colleagues, Senator Ningi. Senator Ningi, don't go far now, because you just made a point that the chairman. Okay. You know how I wish there was any reason. How I wish there was any reason to shout. Distinguished colleagues, if there was any need to shout, Senator Asukwa, will you give us the opportunity to finish? We are discussing about Senator Lalong, and you are going for consultation. Senator Lalong, you are hereby included in this committee because.
Chairman Judiciary. Mr. Senate President, I take exception. I am withdrawing from the committee. Don't talk to me like that. What are you people introducing? Chairman Judiciary Committee. Let me withdraw. I beg to withdraw. I'm withdrawing from the committee. I'm withdrawing from the committee.
as what?
Lalong as chairman.
Where is Asukwa? 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 Senator Asukwa? Senator Lalong? Senator Lalong? Senator Lalong? Senator Lalong? Even when we came here to start this thing, this report, you became ill. Now we are making you chairman of this committee. Don't be ill. Then we are adding Senator Adegbomire as a member to guide you. So we have sorry, Senator Ndume. Senator Ndume, we are not talking about NGOs. We are not talking about NGOs and BBC. If it is BBC Hausa Service, you will be a senior person. But let me explain something to you. Adegbomire is a senior advocate of Nigeria. So Lalong and Adegbomire will be in that committee. Senator Lalong will be the chairman. Those in support of what I've said say aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it. Accordingly, the Senate is hereby adjourned in terms of plenary to the 24th day of February 2026 for a
They will just put you for short. Thank you.
Mr. Leader. Give me that last speech about why